All right, it's time to do the Tuesday. This is February 24th, and this puzzle is by Adam Aronson, who is a longtime constructor. He's a veteran, and he's made actually a lot of crossword construction resources for lots of other people to use for free. So it's really nice what he's done for the community, and it's exciting to do one that he's made today. All right, let's just get started. Other rubbish could be trash. Let's put that in there for now. Carp in the Japanese pond. So this is not trash because this is koi. So make that two. Perhaps me too. If you order something, you might say me too. Make that two. Contacted quickly online could be DM'd. This could be Drek. I think that's how you spell it. To fix as shoelaces is to retie. Blues legend Waters. Ethan Waters, I think? What is this? Went on the fritz. Dial? What could that be? To formally denounce could be what was it? I thought it was censure or something to I don't know. Its base unit is the kilogram, this mass, and SI units. Word after rib or batting. Rib cage, batting cage. Deer crossing. It's road sign with an XING. Right. President of China is Xi Jinping. And this is pretty cool. Is well, I was looking at this. This is involuntary movement. It's a tick. For instance, with Tourette's syndrome, you might leave a door ajar and make friendly to humans. Make friendly to humans. Why is it to humans? Perhaps this is oh, to make an animal friendly to humans is to tame, for instance. A tiny swine. I don't know. Let's go with that. Civil disturbance might be a riot. I'm gonna go with that. Off discarded part of an orange is the peel. I thought it was pith, but it might be peel really. It's often discarded, but I also think like there's a thing such as pith, which is the little inside like strands of an orange. So and same thing with the pomegranate, for instance. There's a nice strategy to well, what I do when I want to cut a pomegranate is to soak it in water. When you first cut it up and you peel the outsides, there are some little those like little white tissue things. So that's the pith, and you want to get rid of that. So this could be riot. This could be mini something for some kind of tiny swine. But I'm gonna go with that. Sprightly dance is a jig, and au jus may be how roast beef is served. Unibrow or unisex, and Sergeant Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Brand. I imagine that's Sergeant like that. I can dig it is that's pretty cool. Nice. Let's see what else. IT Pros offering. IT. So what does IT do? They do tech fix. A techno fix doesn't fit there, of course. Supermodel Hadid, I'm gonna go with that, is Gigi Hadid. Asset for a thrower. Aim, maybe. Not a thrower as in someone that throws a game, like sells really hard, but someone that actually throws something. Asset for a thrower could also be arm. It's one of those things. If I didn't have the I there, I would have been stuck. The disrobing of Christ could be engraving. The disrobing of Christ. I don't know yet. Hideout. I don't know. Tiny swine is a mini pig. I think is that a thing people say? Mini pig? I'm gonna go with that though. It seems right for sure. Okay, so I see there's an end en something here. I think e might also be something with this. Does it just are all these just words that begin with e? There's got to be something more to this, right? Disrobing of Christ. There is no revealer here. It seems like it's just e something n m. I don't know, but I'm looking for this because it starts with e and something. Don't know if that's the case here. Hideout, lair, someone's lair. Disrobing of Christ is an El Greco. It's an El Greco painting, otherwise called as AKA. Centerpiece of a birthday celebration is a cake. This is guac, green dip. Self-written life story is an autobiography, for otherwise an autobio, I think. Hilarious could be, I thought it would have been LMAO. It could be, what's another sound for hilarious thing? I'll come back to that. Either bronze animal in front of the Art Institute of Chicago. Uh, I must have seen it, but I don't remember it. To remove as a page of a notebook. Rip out. Might rip out a page. Actress Watts of The Friend. I don't know. Emu. I think. I think if it's a sort of mascot, I imagine Limu would want to have a rhyming bird. So emu. Honey bun could be deer. Hun. Hun is part of the word, anyways. That's not going to be it. Yellowish color for old computer graphics. Yellowish color. Ochre, I think. No, it's not this. This is Mardi Gras. This could be amber. Color for old computer graphics. I didn't know that. Bay could be another thing. Or no, it's not. Because this looks like it's Naomi. And what is this? Ethnic group for New Yorkans. I don't know where that is, like geographically, but it sounds right. To condemn. So is this really Ethan? Went on the fritz is died. Ethel Waters, I think. Electric guitar could be right. Electric guitar, ethnic group, El Greco. Beds that might have wheels are cots, and brings to a boil. You might anger someone, you might bring them to a boil figuratively. And the grand project is the Oxford English Dictionary. It's a grand project, I suppose. Either bronze animal is a lion, looks like. Snowman and Frozen is Olaf. What is this? Brew that's often a little cloudy and fruity. It's a brew, something beer. Some kind of fruit beer, it looks like, but that doesn't fit with this. Let's look at this one. Brand of squishy balls, Nerf. Oh, roll on the floor laugh, ROFL. I was thinking LMAO, but this could work as well. Fish in some onigiri is eel. And festivals, often containing jousting nights, are Ren fairs, like Renaissance fairs, kind of just old-timey cosplay LARPing things. Showing a smirk could be rye. Nevertheless, yet. Half of a giggle might be T or it could be he. I think it's this then. Doc who's seen for sinusitis is an ENT. Entero something doctor, but enterologist, I think that's what it is. So ent. And then a wheat beer. Brew that's often a little cloudy and fruity is a wheat beer. I didn't know it was fruity, but let's go with that. Avocado shape could be oval. And old tape players are VCRs. Let's see. Thyroid. Endocrine something. I'm gonna go with that. I don't know what word this is, but this looks like PC hack. IT pros offering. I don't know if the IT pro would do the hacking, but I mean, sure, let's go with it. Coffee House Change that owns the domain coffee.com. Craft? Could it be Craft? Coffee House Chain. What's the chain? That doesn't look right. This looks like this is a pretty large jazz combo. It's always, all these words always end in ET, so this could be a nonnet for a group of 9. And I don't know what exactly the instrumentation would be in a nonnet, but I can imagine you could have like bass, drums, keys, guitar, and maybe a few horns, maybe a singer even. Could be a jazz combo. I mean, jazz combos are typically a bit smaller than ensembles like in classical music. Some reproductive cells are ova, plural for ovum, and imposes as tax could be levies. And there's a difference between levy with an IE and a levy with EE. I think a levy is a sort of raised embankment next to a river just to keep it from overflowing. So a levy, to levy taxes, I think is spelled like this with an IE, whereas levy would be LEVEE. I'm going to go with that. Protection against flooding. Oh, this is a levy. Hold up. So this is not a hack. It's PC help. And this is levy with a VEE. Just like I was saying, I didn't realize that. But yeah, imposes as a tax, levies, and levy, which is a nice touch. You know, I think some solvers might be annoyed by that, but I don't know. It's just a nice coincidence. I was just talking about that. But levy and levies, another way. These are technically not dupes because they're completely different words. They just look very similar, just happen to look quite similar. I remember there used to be, a few years ago, there was a themeless puzzle where one of the words going this way on the top was the word seething, as in like seething mad, like super mad. And then the word that was going down was see things. So see things and seething were the two words. And of course the whole point is that they look really similar, and it's sort of just like a nice little, I guess, a bit of wordplay. You see, it's a bit clever, and it's technically allowed because the only sort of thing that you're not allowed to do with words is you can't repeat the same word in the same meaning, with like a few more exceptions. But um, seething and see things doesn't have that problem because those are two completely different words. They mean different things, so you don't have the problem of repeating yourself. It's just more of a nice little like, I didn't know that, or it's just like kind of interesting thing to note. So levy and levies. Then what is this? A shape for flying geese could be V, and an apple taster. The apple taster is Eden. I didn't know that. Okay, I know Pete's Coffee, but I didn't know that they owned the domain coffee.com. That's actually kind of crazy because I didn't think Pete's was even that big outside of the West Coast. I don't know if you've seen it in like nearby my place, but Pete's is, yeah, I mean, I didn't know they had coffee.com. That seems like a very coveted domain name. I wonder how much they spent on that. I remember there was I didn't see the Super Bowl like when it happened, but I know there was that one ad where um it just looked completely AI generated, and the domain was called AI.com. They spent maybe like even like, I don't think it was like $50 million on the domain name. It was the most expensive domain name that was ever sold, AI.com. Um, and from what I can tell, like I had no idea just from the ad, the Super Bowl ad, like what it was that they even did. And it seemed kind of sketchy, like it wasn't a full product even. Um, so yeah, I think the sort of the future of AI startups is cooked. Uh, that's just my opinion. You don't have to go by that. Um, yeah, sorry, where was this coming from? This was coming from coffee.com. I imagine this also cost a lot of money for Pete's Coffee to acquire, just because it's just a very common word. It's just the same thing as AI.com. Only AI.com is even more outrageous because it was the most expensive domain name ever sold. And I think like people just kind of saw AI.com as a joke. I don't think you should make an account on AI.com. I don't really trust it, and you can't even like see what it is until you make an account. So I'm just not going to really try. Juice box could be a juice box. Makes me think juice is talking in a sense of a battery. I'm gonna come back to this because I think I know something else. A dress for a soiree could be an evening gown, and a car brand with a Hummer E. I think it was GMC. And I'm always kind of confusing it with GNC. I think GNC makes sports supplements. GMC is General Motors for sure. I mean, it has to be, right? I'm gonna go with that. Group of smarties could be Mensa, which is the high IQ society. It's that kind of thing that you can just join if you have, I think it's like top 2%, top 1%. To inch up is to crawl. That doesn't look right. What is this? Search for groundwater. Maybe it's not gown. I need to check what this is later. Jacket closer. A snap? To inch up. To creep up. Could be. Search for groundwater it could be douse, I think. Let's go with that. Whom a diary is often shown to no one. That's right. It's sort of the idea of like, there's a nice sense of anonymity with it, and non-judgmentality when it comes to having a journal or a diary, that you can be very personal with it, and the idea is that no one else should be allowed to see it. It's a very sacred thing. So no one ideally should see your diary. Whom a diary is often shown to, no one. Yeah, let's see. Endocrine gland, the thyroid endocrine gland. I still haven't figured out what the theme is here, but it looks like it's a bunch of EGs. So ethnic group, electric guitar, EG, EG, EG. Oh, that's right, because it's all EGs over here. Fender Stratocaster, ethnic group. Oh, I didn't even notice that. That's kind of funny. It's very subtle, very, very subtle what Adam has done here, but I didn't even notice it at first, but there's no revealer because the only thing that's going on here, really, um, is that only these clues that are long have these EGs in them. And of course, all of these answers are EG. So endocrine gland, evening gown. So it is definitely evening gown. A juice box could be a charger. Yeah, that's right, because a charger is a box, typically box shaped, and it gives you juice, so it's a juice gland. Jennifer Egan, and one of the matriarchs in Judaism is Leah. Interesting, interesting. So yeah, I okay. Here's what I think about this about this puzzle. Um, I think there's an aspect when you send in a puzzle, there it's evaluated on multiple different factors. You have one which is sort of the cleverness of the theme. You know, you also have like the difficulty of clues. Generally, clues are less of a factor than, for instance, the theme and the fill that you choose, because those the fill and the theme are harder to change than the clues themselves. But there are multiple factors that go into making a puzzle good enough to be accepted by the times. So one of them is the theme. Other thing that is also quite important is the fill, of course. So the fill is everything else that's not just these long answers, and it's just the majority of the puzzle, right? So you want the fill to represent the difficulty of the day. Um, typically for a typically the fill difficulty has to match the straightforwardness or the trickiness of the theme itself. So this theme lends itself good to be a Monday or a Tuesday. In this case, Tuesday does work for this, and the words reflect that. I think these words are a little bit harder than they say on a Monday, but you in exchange for having a bit like trickier vocabulary, you also have some interesting words. You have like Xi Jinping over here. You have wheat beer, Ren fairs. You have this really nice pair of levy and levy. So a lot of really nice touches in this puzzle in particular when it comes to the fill. So like I was saying, there are different factors when it comes into getting a puzzle accepted or not. Um, and typically with a themed puzzle, the singular most important thing is the theme has to be like clever. It has to be well formed. It has to be like a tight theme. That's what they say. A tight theme is one where they're each piece of fill feels like it really belongs, which where each theme answer really feels like it belongs as part of the theme. So there are no like weak links in this theme. So that's the idea of a tight theme. And also it should be, something that is quite, I would say different. Just something that people don't see that often. That's what makes it interesting. And it's always hard to get that right. So it's why there's always a lot of chance when it comes to if your puzzle gets accepted or not. Um, so with this one, I feel like this is kind of along the same lines as the Groundhog Day puzzle that I saw a few days ago, um, where the theme was just the word Groundhog Day over and over again. It's one of those that's so like painfully simple. I think it's so simple, and yet you've never seen anything like that before. Um, at least I don't think I've seen anything that's like an EG um, theme like this before. I've seen other pairs of starting initials. Ooh, let's finish this up quickly. Um, I've seen ones where it was like starting QB, so all the themes had QB before them. I saw one where it was PZ, and the theme was the theme was easy peasy. Um, just things like that. EG was one that I haven't seen, and it's sort of like kind of common letters in the beginning, but it's just something that just sort of caught me by surprise in any case, because I didn't expect it to just be right in front of me the whole time with this EG right here. So with that in mind, I also think one of the reasons why this puzzle stood out to the editors to be published was because I think the fill around it is just so good. There really aren't any bad or say obscure pieces of information. I would say that all of these are very fair words. There are not really any crossings that I think are super tricky. for instance, like even if you didn't know the names itself, Leah or Jennifer Egan, like you kind of can just realize it couldn't be anything else other than an E. I just feel like there aren't any other letters that can go in this spot if you have L blank AH. So all of these things are fair, you know, like as long as you can um, logic your way through this puzzle, then it's entirely fair. And I think like this, as well as having some interesting long fills as well, sort of bonus fills, especially over here. I think all of this just makes a big difference. But yeah, of course, Adam is a great constructor, so I expected that this would be very um, a lot of good considerations with this, and it just happened to be so simple. Like it just caught me by surprise. But you know, I've sort of become a fan of simple themes actually. But yeah, that's it for today.